Oh my god, my heart is actually racing right now. All right, so this is the video where I really encourage you to contribute with all your theories and analysis because when it comes to theories, nobody does it like Army, right? Because let's be honest, Army have come up with some wild theories over the years, and half the time, completely miss. But I have to say, for this Arirang era, I've been impressed. The level of analysis I've been seeing, lately on like social media and on YouTube feels quite different. Another level. So I'm gonna break this down in detail, but I really want you to treat this like a discussion, not just a reaction video. So bring your theories, bring your breakdowns because it's BTS. All right, so let's get into it. BTS just dropped the Arirang album track list ahead of the March 20th comeback. And the post went up on Weverse at 0020 KST, so 12:20 KST in early in the morning or late at night, past midnight, 20 minutes after the midnight on March 4th. And that's not their usual, clean symbolic time, right? Because they normally prefer like sharp drops like 0000 at midnight exactly. So 20 minutes past, that kind of feels, I don't know, different, deliberate maybe. It creates a sense of like, did this slip? Especially since the track list reportedly surfaced on Spotify first. Where is it? Like here. So people have noticed that. Spotify, it was, I don't know if it was leaked or, okay, it appeared on Spotify first, and then it was posted on Weverse, and then also posted on BTS and Big Hit's social media. But whether that was a back-end timing issue or controlled rollout is, I don't know. It turns a standard track list into a mini event even. Now, BTS, Big Hit or BTS also posted, do I have it? This on Weverse community, a separate post. So I am assuming that this is a verified account, BTS Heart Army, because there's a blue check mark, and this account has posted before, right? And they said this: Army, 이건 된다. 정규 앨범 니값 제대로 한다. So let me read this in English. They said, Army, 이건 된다. So 이건 된다 is like stylized romanization of 이건 된다. So it's kind of like a slang. It is very Korean. So it means this is it, or this one's going to work. So it carries confidence, almost like saying, trust me, this is going to be good. So it's playful but assertive. And then after that, it says 정규 앨범 니값 제대로 한다. So it's also slang heavy. So 니값 한다 literally means it's living up to its nickname or name value. So in context, they are saying this full-length album is truly worthy of being called a proper full-length album, full-length studio album. So in other words, this isn't like half-hearted, it's full scale. And then after that, it says 14곡 꽉꽉 채워서 돌아온다. 이건 무조건 되는 거, 진지. So that line, 14곡 꽉꽉 채워서, emphasizes density. So packed tightly with 14 tracks. And again, they're highlighting that this isn't a mini album. It's a full loaded release. And then it says 이건 무조건 되는 거, 진지. Means this is guaranteed to succeed. And adding that parentheses with the word 진지 inside, it means seriously. So it makes it feel half playful, half confident. And it reads like, someone speaking directly, not corporate PR language. And then last but not least, this is like a countdown part. 달력 보고 아미 여러분, 우리 같이 달력 보고 카운트다운 해볼까요? Army, shall we look at the calendar together and start the countdown? And then this emoji, like a fist and like bling bling stars or light emoji. And after that, It says 20일만 보고 달려보자고요. It means let's just focus on the 20th, meaning, let's fix our eyes on the 20th, March 20th, and run toward it. And then they have these interesting emojis. So this is a running emoji. Let me copy and paste. Can I copy and paste on Google? Like, the runner emoji. And after that, there's this. I think this is like a, Chinese characters, referring to the number 3. And they put this twice. Or maybe it's like it visually represents speed lines because they are talking about let's run toward the 20th. So I don't know. Am I like going crazy over these trivial looking emojis? Who knows? But this one though, this is actually one of the trigrams. It represents fire. So in Korean, it's related to the trigram, which also appears in the taegukgi. Taegukgi trigram. Like these. And the bottom left, that's called Li, representing fire. Oh, maybe they intentionally chose this emoji. So who knows? Maybe it visually represents, dynamicness, energy. Who knows? And then an equal sign and a wind. So maybe like equals wind, like speed, zoom. So visually speaking, the whole string reads something like running, dash dash, or 3 energy or fire, equal whoosh. I have no idea, to be honest. But that's what BTS Heart Emoji Army account posted on Weverse. I guess the only potentially deeper symbol here is the trigram one, because that trigram represents fire or light or brightness. And arirang as a comeback tied to Korean identity, might make people wonder if that's intentional, just like, I am wondering right now. But who knows? Maybe if you have your own theory, let me know. Now, if you click on this button, BTS ARIRANG Tracklist, it leads to the tracklist. Now, let's talk about this. 14 tracks. Track number 1, Body to Body. Track number 2, Hooligan. Track number 3, Aliens. Track number 4, FYA or Fire. Now, I'm going to talk about my own theories behind these titles, okay? Track number 5, 2.0. Track number 6, number 29, NO.29, number 29. And track number 7, Swim. And I'm assuming that this is a title track, given, that is only this part is written in white with black background, black label. And it's all capitalized, SWIM, Swim. And it's track number 7. Track number 8, Merry-Go-Round. Track number 9, Normal. Track number 10, Like Animals. Track number 11, They Don't Know About Us. And these are all lowercase. They don't know about us. All 5 words. Track number 12, One More Night. Track number 13, Please. And track number 14, Into the Sun. Am I the only one who's experiencing like goosebumps right now? Just by looking at the track list alone? And am I overreacting? I don't know. Now, when you step back and look at the full picture, it feels quite structured. We have seen that this album has been categorized as like pop/rock, right? And then we had to consider the fact that there was the whole, Spotify, What Is Your Love Song EP concept campaign. Self-love, fandom love, romantic love, healing love, unrequited love, nostalgic love. And they encourage fans to vote for, their choices, our choices. And suddenly, if you consider those, the track list, where is it? Track list feels, it looks less scattered. It starts to look like a map of different forms of love, filtered through a group that's older, post-military, and very aware of their public narrative and their influence. So let's go track by track again, but let's discuss, and I'm gonna talk about my own thoughts that I had when I looked at these titles, and I'm just gonna say whatever that comes to my mind. But first of all, Body to Body, track number 1. So Body to Body, on the surface, it sounds physical, right? Body to body. But then, and if you think about it, BTS rarely stays literal. They could go deeper and metaphorical, and maybe body to body could represent proximity in a broader sense, like the tension between physical closeness and emotional distance, or the opposite, how physical presence heals emotional gaps. And maybe in a pop/rock setting, this could open the album with urgency, like drums up front and direct phrasing, and establishing connection as the first theme. So maybe this could open strong and rhythmic. Now, do you remember what J-Hope said during his birthday live stream? I'm going to talk about credits too, because they released the track credit list on Instagram. So one fan already noticed HYBE about Arirang's first track, Body to Body. So one of the fans asked him during the live stream, which one is your favorite track? And he thought for a long time and says this: personally, track 1, the song that starts the album. Personally, it makes my heart shake, or it makes my heart race. Where is this post? Yep, let's. So he thinks for a good 5 seconds, right? And it says, me, I love each track, every single track. I seriously love all tracks. But personally, the track number 1, the one that starts the album, personally, is the one that 심장의 요동쳐요. It makes my heart dance or shake or race, whatever, just like how I'm feeling right now. So, man, my anticipation for this album is going higher day by day. So that was track number 1. Next, Hooligan. So that's track number 2. And the title quite stands out. Hooligan. In case you don't know what that word means. So dictionary meaning, a violent young troublemaker, typically one of a gang. Oh, gang. Do you remember when RM said gang in one of the group live streams, and the other members were like surprised and shocked by that? And a lot of fans at the time were saying that, oh, that must be a spoiler. That was during Taehyung's birthday live streams, right? When they did like 3 or 4 live streams on that day. Anyways, I that just came across my mind. Where are we? So that's the dictionary meaning. Hooligan, a violent young troublemaker, typically one of a gang. So it suggests rebellion, or maybe chaos, or being labeled as problematic. And it feels rebellious just looking at the title, and could tap into like frustration or public perception or even media narratives. You know how BTS has a thing or two to say about the media. And if the album is partly about different forms of love, this could be about, I don't know, tough love or self-defense, like the kind of love that pushes back against narratives. So it could carry an edge, not necessarily anger, but defiance. Who knows? Maybe a gritty guitar-driven track would fit. Who knows? So we'll see. Track number 3, Aliens. I think we are talking about a metaphor territory. So this is where potentially outsider identity comes in, right? Outsiders feeling misunderstood, maybe, and identity in a global space. Who knows? Or love as alienation, and love as survival in unfamiliar space. Because BTS have been global for years, but the feeling of being other doesn't disappear. And this might lean into like atmospheric production, like reflective verses, maybe a big emotional chorus. Who knows? And it could fit with fandom love too, feeling understood only by a certain group. So I'm thinking maybe this could be introspective, maybe mid-tempo with atmospheric rock elements. All right, track number 4, FYA. And it kind of reads like fire, fire. Likely, if that's the case, likely high energy. Now, if you just type FYA meaning, let's see what Google comes up with. FYA most commonly means for your action. Oh, really? Okay. In professional emails indicating the recipients must complete a task or provide a response. Okay, that could be the case. It is distinct from FYI, for your information. I don't know. Wait. FYI, fire. Oh, people are already talking about it. Anyways, so it could be fire. It could be not. Who knows? But for now, I'm thinking is high energy, if it's a reference to fire, possibly performance focused, and this might be the hype track built for live stages, like energy release, performance driven, and this might represent like passionate love, like fire as intensity, ambition, or drive. So if the early tracks are about like friction and perception, maybe this could be the ignition point. Less introspection, but more movement. So now moving on to track number 5, 2.0. 2.0. And you know what that reminds fans of? Namjoon. Somebody said, Namjoon, you genius. Man, I love you. We call it chapter 2. We call it BTS 2.0. So, yeah. Maybe this one is about reinvention, reset, post-military, post-hiatus, and now a new chapter. And the idea of rebuilding identity at a new stage in life, maybe that's the song is about. Not starting over from zero, but upgrading, So I thought when I first saw this title, I thought the title is, quite blunt in a beautiful way. It suggests also like ownership, and if this maybe leans like modern rock with a strong melodic hook, it could be one of the album's core statements. Because this could directly address evolution, lyrically maybe reflective, but maybe sonically modern rock. Now moving on to the next track. Track number 6, number 29. So we have 2 number related tracks in a row. Maybe this one, I'm gonna talk about this one later because it is likely that this could be an interlude. Okay, but yeah, let's talk about Swim. Track number 7, the title track. Interesting choice for a title track, right? Because swim implies maybe immersion, survival, or moving forward despite resistance. That's what swimming is, right? Moving forward in the water despite resistance of the water. So in a pop rock frame, this could build from like soft verses into explosive choruses, and it suggests motion, right? And like motion through resistance, because you don't swim in still air, you swim in water that pushes back. And that metaphor could work for like love, fame, growth, and pressure. And as a title track, it probably balances vulnerability with scale. Who knows? I'm just saying whatever that comes to my mind. So like starting soft and building. And thematically, it feels like healing love, like choosing to move forward instead of staying stuck. Now, I found this hilarious army saying this. Track 7, Namjoon spoiler. Do you know what this is about? Do you remember when RM turned on live stream, Weverse live stream, as soon as he got to LA? And then the whole live stream sounded
Oh shit, I think my mic is fucked up.
sounded like he was underwater because he dropped his phone into water and it broke. It got broken.
I just dropped in water and like I think that's why. Holy shit, I think I gotta. Alright,
So many armies found this
okay. I think
hilarious.
I gotta try the phone again and then.
I love this man and this fan saying track 7, Namjoon spoiler. That was incredible. All right, moving on. So that was title track. I'm so excited. I did not expect BTS to come up with Swim as a title track. All right, moving on. Maybe is this supposed to be a because this word is in capital like uppercase SWIM? Maybe it could stand for something, something longer. Who knows? All right, track number 8, Merry-Go-Round. Cyclical love or cyclical life, or maybe nostalgia, like the repetition of patterns. And it could be commentary on the industry or their career or emotional patterns. Musically, maybe upbeat, but lyrically reflective. And if you think about it, fame can feel like a loop, for artists like BTS. And relationships can feel like a loop too. And this might explore exhaustion with cycles or acceptance of, of them, And then as we would find out later, I think Kevin Parker is involved with this track. Merry-Go-Round. Yeah, Kevin Parker. So if Kevin Parker's involvement, shapes this track sonically, then it could feel like dreamy but slightly uneasy. So upbeat rhythm but reflective lyrics. I'm gonna talk about like some of these producers as well. All right, moving on to track number 9, Normal. Normal, all uppercase, Normal. So that word is loaded. I don't know about you, but when I saw that one, I was like, ooh, normal. Because BTS and normal don't really go together. So maybe it could explore the gap between public image and private self, and that might be quite stripped back in terms of a song. And again, the title carries weight because what is normal for them? What is normal for BTS? And what does normal even mean after everything? So this could land under self-love or healing love, like accepting that their version of normal is different. It might be one of the more restrained tracks, like less production, more vocal emphasis. Who knows? We'll have to see. All right, track number 10, Like Animals. Ooh. Instinct? Or like raw reaction or survival mode? And if this connects to, I don't know, romantic or passionate love, it might focus on like primal emotion, like not polished affection, but urgency. But maybe it could be something else. But yeah, I thought this is one of the tracks that really grabbed my attention in terms of titles. This one could hit harder, like sonically, maybe more aggressive rhythm. All right, track number 11. They Don't Know About Us. Ooh, maybe us versus the world energy. It could address like outsiders misreading their bond. And or misreading a relationship dynamic. And who was this produced by? P-Dog, yeah, P-Dog, Ghost Loop, Y2K. So the production being more in-house suggests it might feel closer to their core sound. It could be lyrically direct and possibly like chant-like sections for live performance. But also notice how RM, Suga, J-Hope plus Jimin were involved with writing the lyrics. So they don't know about us. Kind of reminds me of Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. Anyways, let's move on. Track number 12. One More Night. Now, this one leans romantic or nostalgic. Like maybe a song about like holding on to something fleeting. It could be about a relationship or metaphorically about a moment in time. And if the album arc moves from tension toward something more clear, like clarity, this might sit in the reflective second half. And then after that, but I don't know, in terms of sonically speaking, maybe sentimental, possibly a slower song about longing or holding on to a moment. And after that, after One More Night, we have Please. Simple title, I feel like often hits hardest. And this one could be vulnerable. And I noticed that unlike other... Oh, actually, never mind. I was just going to say that for this one, only P, the letter P, is capitalized. So it suggests vulnerability, maybe a request, maybe an admission, and it could represent unrequited love or healing love. And if it's more stripped back, this might be where the vocal line could really stand out. So less layered production and more direct emotional delivery. And it reminds me of the track Please Don't Change by Jungkook, which is a song that we recently talked about, right? Anyways, now last but not least, track number 14, Into the Sun. Into the Sun. Yep, this one sounds like a closer. Into the Sun. Forward facing, hopeful, maybe walking into something brighter. And if the album narrative, moves from tension, again, remember how it starts with, tracks such as Body to Body, Hooligan, and Aliens and Fire. It ends with a track called Into the Sun. So from tension to release. And this would make sense as a final statement, the track, because it could represent maybe self-love or collective love and walking towards something brighter after friction, cycles, doubt, conflict, or vulnerability. And if I remember correctly, this one is quite loaded in terms of production. So given the crowded production credits, it may be built as an anthem closer. Who knows? Like super layered, super expansive, and ending on uplift rather than, I don't know, something else. But yeah. And also, I noticed somebody posting this. I caught Jimin's spoiler. I did. Yeah, so Jimin posted something. He posted like sun, something about the sun. And yes, BTS Festa, where Jin and J-Hope hosted. There were a lot of metaphors related to sun and the moon. Let me see if I remember correctly. Jimin, he did post something about the sun a few months ago. Was it on Weverse or was it on Instagram? Oh, right here. 오늘은 해가 떨어지는 중이네요. Today the sun is setting. The night before. Oh, he didn't post any caption, but here is the moon, right? Seoul City. But then he posted, the sun is setting today. He posted this on November 11th, 5:20 p.m., 2025, KST. And then, oh, by the way, the moon tonight in Korea was red. I think there's a term for that. Sorry, blood moon. Is that what it is? Yeah, Mars 2026 lunar eclipse. And sorry, it's not just in Korea, but it's the phase right now. So it's called blood moon eclipse. And I saw this tonight while I was out for a walk, and I thought it was beautiful, and it kind of reminded me of BTS ARIRANG poster or image. You know? And I saw somebody saying that BTS ARIRANG promotion budget is crazy. They even featured the moon itself. I just love it. Anyways, so that was that. Now let's talk about credits. So overall, I feel like the track list, the structure feels super intentional. How the first half leans like sharp and confrontational, and the middle seems like reflective, and the closing tracks sound emotional and forward-looking, like One More Night, Please, Into the Sun. So in the beginning, body to body, hooligan, aliens, and fire. You know, quite perception, confrontation, identity, and energy. And then it goes like swim, 2.0, number 29, swim, merry-go-round, normal. So I would say swim, merry-go-round, normal, like animals. Maybe reinvention and immersion, and being reflective. And then they don't know about us, One More Night, Please, and Into the Sun. So that's more of a a vulnerability or connection and resolution. So, and even though this album has been categorized as pop slash rock, it won't sound like traditional guitar revival rock or anything. It will likely blend multiple sonical elements, including electronic textures and strong hooks, and live feeling drums and layered vocals and on. And the credit list, which we are about to explore, supports that hybrid direction that I'm thinking about. Now, looking at the credit list, so if you go over to Big Hit, BTS Big Hit official Instagram account, they posted the credit list. And here's a combined version. And if you look at it, a few patterns jump out immediately. First of all, RM, Suga, J-Hope are everywhere. I love it. The rap line being everywhere. They're almost on every song as writers. Let's see. Yep, Body to Body, check. Hooligan, check. Let's see. For Aliens, do you see RM? Oh yes, we do see RM. So yeah, check. Fire, check. Do we see J-Hope? No, we don't see J-Hope. Instead, we see Jungkook. 2.0, check. Swim. Oh, for Swim, we only have RM. Interesting. Merry-go-round, check. Normal, check. Like Animals. Again, this is the one where we only have RM out of the the rap line. They Don't Know About Us, check. We also have Jimin in this one. One More Night, RM Suga J-Hope, check. Please, RM Suga J-Hope, check. And Into the Sun, RM Suga J-Hope, check. So, yeah, that tells you this isn't a hands-off pop project. Even with all the Western producers, like superstar producers involved, the rap line is structurally embedded in the writing process. And that means lyrical cohesion across the album. And second, P-Dog is deeply present. And he's a genius. And he's either producing or credited as a writer on most tracks. And when P-Dog anchors a project, there's usually a clear sonic thread tying different external producers together. So even though the lineup might look chaotic on paper for some people, there's probably internal control. Now, you might also notice that you don't see Pangxiu, Hitman Bang, and I might talk about it as to why that might be the case at the end of the video if I remember to talk about it. Now, the outside names. So Diplo is all over this album, like Body to Body, Fire, right? Produced by Diplo, Fire, Diplo, and Like Animals, yes, and One More Night, and Into the Sun. Diplo was involved, and that's not a gamble, right? That's a real presence, and Diplo tends to bring rhythm-driven, percussive energy. Diplo, and yes, he has recently talked about how he was involved with BTS album. Let's go over to YouTube and type Diplo. So yeah, many of you might have already listened to the music made by Diplo. So he tends to bring like percussive energy, and again, if this album is labeled pop rock, his involvement suggests it won't be classic band rock, right? It will likely be hybrid, like big drums, electronic texture, and the elements layered in. Now, Ryan Tedder appears several times as well, both producing and writing. And Ryan Tedder's strength is, I think, melody and chorus architecture. And when he's involved, you usually get big, clean hooks, and that lines up with the title track. Where is it? Track number 7. Swim, right? Produced by Ryan Tedder, has in parentheses. So that lines up with Swim, and also Normal, track number 9. And those might be like structurally strong and maybe radio-friendly tracks. So I'm really looking forward to Ryan Tedder produced tracks. And as you know, HYBE has been partnering and collaborating with Ryan Tedder in terms of producing a new boy group under HYBE America, if I remember correctly. Now, Mike Will Made It. Where is it? Mike Will Made It handles Aliens. Track number 3, right? Yeah. Produced by Mike Will Made It, plus Donut and Khalid Rohaim. And he handles also 2.0. Mike, in case you don't know how Ryan Tedder looks like. Yep, there you go. American singer-songwriter and record producer, Ryan Tedder. And then Mike Will Made It. Mike Will Made It. American record producer. And he handles Aliens and 2.0. And that's interesting because he's known for heavy and atmospheric and bass-forward production. Let's also type his name on YouTube. Yeah. And those two tracks, Aliens and 2.0, might lean darker or more expansive rather than straightforward rock. Now, Flume, he's involved with the track Fire, F-Y-A. Yeah, there you go. Produced by Diplo, Flume, and Nitty. And that stands out because that's textured and glitchy electronic territory if you have listened to music produced by Flume. Flume? Yeah. And combined with Diplo and Nitty, that's a really interesting combination because Fire could be the most experimental track on the album. And then who else? Kevin Parker. Kevin Parker on Merry-Go-Round. Produced by Kevin Parker right here. Kevin Parker. Australian singer and songwriter. Singer, songwriter, musician, record producer, and DJ, best known for his musical project Tame Impala, for which he writes, performs, records, and produces the music. Kevin Parker. And again, he's on Merry-Go-Round. And that's, again, Tame Impala territory. Like maybe psychedelic textures. And if his influence is real and not just writing carryover, that track could have like a dreamy, layered feel, rather than something aggressive. And I feel like the title itself is giving, merry-go-round. I could feel something like sentimental and soft or dreamy from that title alone. Who else? Tyler Spree also appears repeatedly. Yep, including track number 13, Please. And Swim, too. The title track. Swim. Tyler Spree. Yeah. So, multi-platinum LA-based producer, musician, and songwriter. That one also interesting. It suggests those songs, Swim and Please, may share a tonal identity. And if Swim is indeed the title track and Tyler Spree is involved, that could mean a more emotional and mid-tempo build rather than a hard-hitting anthem. So we'll have to see. Now, another thing that I noticed, of course, is Jungkook, V, and Jimin appear selectively as writers. I was so excited to see their names in the credits. They're not on everything, but they are strategically placed. So Jimin appears on They Don't Know About Us, right here. And Into the Sun, right here, along with V. And V appears on Into the Sun and 2.0, right here. And that's telling, right? And Jungkook, yes. Jungkook is on 2.0, and I think I saw his name in other tracks as well. Jungkook. Oh, no, I do remember his name. I'm seeing his name multiple times. Right? Right? Okay, you have to correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways. All right. See, I told you. Hooligan. Jungkook right there. Okay? And those tracks might carry like personal or vocal specific identity, Oh, Aliens too. Oh, Jungkook on Hooligan, Aliens, Fire. Wow, okay. 2.0. Oh. Sorry, I'm just too excited at this hour. Where else? That's it? Okay. So we're talking about, again, Jimin is on They Don't Know About Us. I'm so excited. Yep. And Into the Sun has V, Jimin, RM, Suga, and J-Hope. How exciting is that? And specifically, They Don't Know About Us is produced by P-Dog, Ghost Loop, and Y2K. So it's in-house, right? Less American pop, machine, more in-house energy. And that might be the most like core BTS sounding track on the album. We'll have to see. It has Jimin, RM, Suga, and J-Hope on the track. And like Animals involves Artemis. Where is it? Yep. Artemis Diamandis and Diplo. And that combination suggests something darker and mood-driven. Possibly like minimal verses, heavy chorus. Who knows? And Like Animals, that title itself is quite, interesting, And last but not least, Into the Sun has one of the most crowded production credits, like discussed earlier. We have P-Dog, Diplo, Tyler Johnson, Nitty, and Ghostloop. And when that many hands are involved, it's usually a big closer, like anthemic, and super layered, and designed to end, the album wide. So overall, what stands out is scale. This is a global production team. And it's not just one or two Western collaborators we're talking about. It's like a network. Yet, the rap line and P-Dog remain central. And we also have, Jimin, V, and Jungkook involved. Now, you might ask, why is Jin not involved? Well, many of us already know the answer, because while the song camp was taking place, he was on his world tour, right? The legendary Run Seokjin EP tour. And he joined them after he finished the world tour. Well, like, he truly finished back in Seoul, but you know what I'm saying, back in Korea. So he also said that by the time he joined them, the song making was already almost complete. So that's why he called them, his dongsangs, his brothers, genius. They worked super hard, super fascinating. So probably that's the case. That's why. But we already know how well Jin could write songs, right, and his music through the 2 albums that he released since he finished his military service. But I think that might be the case. Or am I missing? Did you see Jin's name in the credits? Anyways, I think that's the case. What else? And the balance is the key thing I notice, because this doesn't just look like a Western pop album with BTS vocals, pasted on top. It looks like a hybrid where BTS still has writing control, but is experimenting sonically at a high level. And again, if pop rock is the umbrella label, we could expect it to be interpreted loosely. More modern alternative pop rock with electronic backbone rather than, I don't know, something else. And last but not least, number 29. That one has no credits listed here, right? Number 29, right here. So, and that's track number 6. The fact that there are no credits listed for number 29 immediately makes you think interlude or skit, because BTS has a long history of using interludes and skits as like structural glue. Like all albums like Wings. Did they have skits on Wings? But on multiple albums, they included short tracks, but not necessarily as fillers, because those tracks framed the narrative and they shifted tone. And sometimes they were like, just like narration or them just talking to each other. But sometimes they were like introspective solo moments. And if number 29 has no visible producer or songwriting credits in the rollout, there might be a few possibilities. I think it's an interlude built around like dialogue or, I don't know, ambient sound or a short instrumental piece. Or it could be super heavily self-produced and credits were withheld for suspense. Although I think that's there's a low chance for that. Maybe I don't know. It could be a conceptual track where the meaning matters more than structure. But I feel like it could be an interlude or a skit. Now the number itself, 29. Because 29 stands out because it feels very specific. Number 29. And it's not symbolic in an obvious way like, 7 or 0 o'clock, 0000. I think it suggests age. 29 is the number right before hitting 30. And most of the members are around that age range right now. How old is Jin? 33. How old is Jungkook? 28. Korean age, like traditional Korean age, 30. Right? I'm not too good with the traditional Korean age. Korea used to have 3 different ages in their system. So I think that alone opens up interpretation. And BTS members have talked about age multiple times ever since they got together after the military service. And if this comeback marks a new era, post-military and post-hiatus, 29 could represent that transitional year, not quite youth, but not fully settled adulthood either. So it's that in-between space, like old enough to look back, but young enough to still be evolving. And I believe that BTS will continue to evolve for a good amount of time in the future. But it could also reflect like chapter counting, because track number 5 is 2.0, right? And if that indicates reinvention, maybe number 29 could mark where they stand in their personal timeline. Again, almost 30 and almost a new decade. And that psychological shift could be real. And there's also the possibility that, I don't know, maybe it's referencing something specific in their discography. Because, how they're meticulous about numbers. And fans will count everything. And maybe by the time I finish this video, somebody may have already decoded what this is supposed to mean and talking about it on social media. Who knows? So we'll have to see. But if 29 aligns with an anniversary milestone or cumulative like track count in some manner, that could be deliberate. Now, if it is an interlude, I would expect it to be reflective. Maybe voice memos, maybe layered spoken lines, maybe a conversation. So yeah, maybe a short piece that transitions from the more aggressive early tracks into the emotional second half. And again, that's placed right before the title track, Swim. Yeah, so given the surrounding track list, it sits right before Swim, it's the title track. And I think that could be strategic. So if number 29 bridges into Swim, it might frame the idea of stepping forward and immersing and starting over. So yeah, I think interlude is very possible, or a skit. But even if it's something else, I think the number choice suggests it carries thematic weight. It doesn't feel random at all. Because with BTS, numbers rarely are random, right? Alright, so that's everything I'm seeing right now. But here's the thing. This is just the track list, right? We haven't heard a single second of the album yet. And already, it feels amazing, at least from my perspective. I don't know about you. And it feels super deliberate, super structured, and it feels like there's a narrative sitting under the surface just by looking at the title, track titles themselves. So I want to know, what do you think? What do you think in general? How did you react as soon as you saw the track list? You saw, where is it? This. How did you react? And specifically, I don't know, what do you think number 29 means? And what do you think 2.0 really means? And do you think Swim, what do you think it's going to sound like? It's going to be emotional or explosive? And which track do you think will surprise you the most? And do you already have a bias track, personal favorite track, just by looking at the track titles? And how do you see the 6 types of love connecting to this track list? Does this campaign carry any weight any longer? Or do you think there's still connection between this and the album? Let me know. Drop your full theories Long comments are welcome. I know many of you on my channel love writing like essays in the comment section. I love reading them. Okay, because if this era is going where I think it might be going, we're going to want receipts later. Okay, so let's talk. Now, before we end this video, I do want to address something because I'm not going to show anything on the screen. So if you been on Twitter, X, especially Korean side, Korean Twitter, you probably have seen the mood lately. A lot of Korean Army accounts are sounding super frustrated and complaining about the timing and complaining about the design and complaining that the track list dropped at 12:20 instead of exactly at 12, and complaining that Spotify showed it first, and complaining that there was no timetable and that the rollout feels rushed. And some people are even calling the company incompetent. At the same time, you'll also see other fans joking aloud about how they were spiraling and going crazy, and now they are excited again after looking at the track list. And some people are defending the group and defending the company, saying people have just been waiting so long that the frustration exploded. Meanwhile, there's a noticeable difference. International Army overall seems to be celebrating, like analyzing the credits and theorizing and getting excited. So what's going on? So that's a clear difference that I've been seeing and many of you have been seeing as well. And here's my honest take. I probably have talked about it before on my channel. Like, there's a specific culture on Korean Twitter, okay? Korean Twitter fandom spaces. So it's quite intense and it's quite emotional and reactive. And it's super fast. And it often leans critical, especially critical against others and the company. And not because Korean fans as a whole are ungrateful, okay? We're really against, generalization. I don't think that's true. There are many thoughtful, nice, balanced, respectful, and supportive Korean fans. And you see many of them writing comments on my channel whenever I make Korean videos. But you know how algorithms amplify the loudest voices, right? Like the most emotional post and the angriest phrasing and some sarcastic tweets. And that's what spreads. And on Korean Twitter especially, there's a subset of fans who treat comebacks almost like customer service transactions or something. Like, for example, if the rollout doesn't match their expectation of how it should look, they react immediately, sometimes harshly, criticizing the company. Now, I think what they're missing is the fact that, BTS had a lot of says in the whole project, right? I don't know, for some reason, those fans, I would say some Korean fans, whenever they find something unsatisfactory, they blame on the company and separate the artist from the company and decide not to think about a possibility that BTS made their own decisions and it was part of their ideas, potentially. Just like how the album cover was designed, the rough draft was designed by Jungkook. Like, a lot of those Korean fans complained about how ugly it looked, like calling it pamti. There's a specific slang in Korean K-pop fandom culture, calling something ugly. But then they just went radio silence after realizing that Jungkook designed it. So that was quite hilarious. Now, what makes it tiring for me personally is that BTS is Korean, right? If such complaints happen in a random corner of the internet, written in other languages, I would just ignore. But you know who else is Korean other than me? BTS. And when they see Korean fans being this aggressive over, like timing details or design choices or just little details, it could hit differently compared to seeing like English comments or posts, I fear, because the members can read Korean posts. And naturally, they will see Korean reactions first. That's what happens, for a first language. That's just reality. And that's what I'm concerned about. The members getting influenced by those voices, the loud voice of the minority. And I genuinely hope that one of the two things is true. Either the members don't use Twitter much at all, or they fully understand how social media works, how a loud minority can dominate the tone, and how outrage spreads faster than appreciation. Because the truth is, Twitter is not a full reflection of the fandom. It never has been. And again, there are excited Korean fans, and there are grateful Korean fans, and there are analytical Korean fans as well. But you won't always see them trending on Twitter because calm appreciation doesn't go viral. So I just think that it's important to separate algorithm noise from actual sentiment. And I'll be honest, it does get exhausting scrolling through posts that, I don't know, describe every rollout detail as incompetence or disrespect or just ugly, especially before we have even heard the album. And at the end of the day, this is a tracklist drop, right? And the music hasn't even started yet. So I'm choosing to stay focused on the bigger picture. And I know many of international fans pointed out that, hey, you are expecting this comeback to follow a typical K-pop formula where we are talking about a historical comeback by BTS? Like, wake up. And I think, they have a point. You have a point. And I also feel like once the music drops, that's what will matter, right? I think that will really silence the noises going out here. And if you're going to analyze something intensely, I'd rather it be the art itself. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's it. I feel like I'm missing something. Am I missing something? Oh, why Bang Seok is not listed in the credit list? We can talk about it later. Some of you might be thinking that might be because he has been involved with all the his personal quote unquote controversy and how the media has been treating him. But he had been involved with other HYBE artists' music, like Eyelids, Le Seraphim, and on, and boy groups too. Who knows? My theory is that maybe they decided to make this one different, the ARIRANG album. And maybe this is just like pure speculation, extra speculation. Maybe they have another album in store, like just an idea, as an idea format. Because a few years ago, Bang Seok has publicly expressed his wish and semi-plan to make a 10-year anniversary album for 화양연화, the most beautiful moment in life. You know what I'm saying? But maybe they decided that this comeback, this specific album, ARIRANG, maybe shouldn't be framed as like a follow-up to 화양연화. So maybe if there were to be like a follow-up to the 화양연화 series, like a 10-year or 11-year anniversary, maybe 10 Bang Seok will be involved, him and Bang will be involved. But yeah, I did notice the absence of his name, right? Unless I missed seeing him. Anyways, that's my theory. Now it's time for you to drop your theories. And when you write comments, let's stay positive, respectful, and classy. Sorry if I sound like too chaotic in this video. I was just too excited. And I wanted to make this video today at this moment. All right. How many days? 16 days, baby. 16 days, 10 hours, 20 minutes, and 25 seconds left until BTS ARIRANG comeback. Thank you guys. Peace and love. Bye-bye.